Hello everybody and welcome back to another weather forecast. So in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about snow that's going to be right in this little region, basically the Great Lakes, and I'm going to look at a little low pressure system that will come on through like so across the United States, which will bring a little bit of snow as well. Because something I'm trying to do is actually focus a little bit more on snow because I have been lacking on that front. I also want to talk a little bit about updates. So I looked over, I think, all of the videos I've made so far, and my accuracy in them has actually been pretty good, so I'm kind of happy about that. The one thing I have lacked on a little bit is the outbreak that happened January 8th and 9th. So I was pretty spot on regarding tornado risks in this region. So with the development of it, it had been supercells down here, but they didn't really form too well, and then it did turn into a line segment. But something I need to work on in the future is definitely looking into the next day because I focused too much on January 8th in this region right here. And what actually happened was a whole lot of tornadic storms through a very powerful QLCS that moved through here. So in the future, I'm going to look a little bit more on the second day of the event just so I don't ignore it because it is also important. However, for this forecast, I am going to be looking at the Northeast a little bit more and then the Great Lakes. So right now, there is a situation going on with a little low pressure system that is actually somewhere around here in the Atlantic Ocean, which is just taking up lots of moisture from the Atlantic Ocean. And once it hits the lower temperatures here, it turns into cloud cover and actually pretty heavy snow, which we can see on the reflectivity right now. So this is a current product of the radar. You can basically see all this snow that's going to start being dumped in Maine. I'm also looking at the HRRR, which is the high resolution rapid refresh. Essentially, if I look at 6 hour snow accumulation, again, this is one of my more favorite products to use. Later on today, we're going to be seeing a lot heavier snow. So this is about 7 o'clock Eastern time. As this moves over the Northeast, it will pick up a lot more humidity from the Atlantic Ocean. It'll pick up a lot of humidity, which we can see through relative humidity. This is very moist air, and this will be dumping a lot of snow in this region, especially in Maine. And as this surface low that's currently centered around the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere off the coast of New York, this is going to keep on dumping snow into tonight. But when I was looking at the HRRR for this event, I actually saw something else that was kind of interesting that I didn't really know about. So I'm looking at the 6 hour snow accumulation, and you can see here over the Great Lakes, there's a lot of snow that just kind of comes from all the moisture here, and I was kind of interested about it. So I was trying to figure out why that happens, right? And my explanation is that the higher dew points in the Great Lakes compared to, the temperatures all around it actually lead to formations right on the lakes themselves, which brings a little bit of snow right to the coast. And it is proportional to the direction of wind movement. So if I look at the dew point temperature, we're going to look more at New York just because the product is showing that's where the heaviest snow will be falling. We can see the dew point on the Lake Erie, I believe, which is this one. Um, Lake Erie here has 9 degrees Fahrenheit, and on the surface it's 1 degree Fahrenheit. So that means there's more moist air here that's being blown directly to the east, like so. We can look at temperature right here, and all the winds are moving essentially east. So what this means is that this kind of forms a mini dry line. If you don't remember what a dry line is, this is essentially when you have, I can get the arrow here, drier air underneath that wedges up moisture air, right? But essentially for us, this is kind of inverted. So you have drier air here, which is having moisture air going above it. So since the moist air is kind of warmer and it's more likely to rise, it basically goes like so and creates cloud cover like so, and this will come down as snow. It's not an amazing drawing, but you kind of get the point. So that's my guess on why this happens, and I think it's kind of interesting. It's basically just lake effect snow. It's going to be seen in every single lake, and it's also, again, directly proportional to wind at the surface. So as the winds move in a more southerly fashion, like so, that's where all the snow will go, just like so. So that was something interesting. And another thing I wanted to look at is in the future. So I'm looking at the NAM model now, and I'm going to be looking at the contiguous United States. So this is the entire United States underneath. It's a little hard to see, I've been told. So just trying to make sure people understand where it is. So right now, somewhere around British Columbia, there's a little low pressure system right here. It's very hard to see, and I'm gonna get a little bit closer so you can see it here. But as we talked about before on this channel, these are wind barbs, and these wind barbs are rotating in a counterclockwise manner. Essentially, that means there is a low pressure system right here rotating counterclockwise, and that's where this is going to be coming from. I'm going to move back to the contiguous United States now, and this low pressure system, which is centered right around here, this is going to keep moving through the United States like so. And it's actually going to pull Arctic air, more Arctic air, from the north and Canada. Once again, this is centered somewhere around here. It's very hard to see on the surface map, but in the upper air levels, it's it's still there, right around here, and you can kind of see this little kink where there's slightly moved contour lines. They're not so linear, and it kind of goes like so. This is where our low pressure is, and that will move through the United States. It shouldn't bring too heavy of snowfall, but it's something I'm going to look at a little bit more because that could pull more moisture. And if this does end up becoming a surface low, it could become a lot stronger and actually pull a lot of moisture from the Great Lakes and end up being kind of dangerous. Otherwise, that's the bulk of this forecast. I'm going to keep looking at snow more, and I probably will be looking at the snow system as it comes through and as we get closer to the event, because right now we're a few days out. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next forecast.